Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to obviously whenever you're watching this video. Welcome to the Bears Huddle podcast. I'm Owen W. James. This is your UK take on all things Chicago Bears. Yes, we spoke about Ben Johnson this morning. We spoke about how he has ramped up the Packers rivalry with those post-game comments. If you didn't see the video, go and check it out, guys. It's all on Ben and the offense and the defense and the entire roster this weekend to really step it up and take it to those Rams. Two of the biggest offensive geniuses in Ben Johnson and Sean McVay go head to head at Soldier Field this weekend. Who knows what the outcome will be? But look, there's lots of factors going to be at play this weekend. Of course, there is. Obviously, the weather is playing a big part in that one as well. The situation, obviously, where Matthew Stafford does not do well in cold weather. Dome teams historically as well, 1-15 when the temperature is below 40 degrees outside. And it will be a very cold weekend at Soldier Field. Soldier Field will be absolutely rocking yet again. The same way that it was against the Packers this weekend, even though there isn't the rivalry there between the Rams and the Bears. The Bears fans know that if they bring the noise, if they bring the atmosphere, it will give the team a great opportunity to really step it up and win this weekend. Now, obviously, the defense will need to do more than bend and don't break going into this game this weekend. The Bears, obviously, defense that has been mixed this season, I think is the best word that we can kind of put on that. A lot of that, of course, down to the injuries. Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds. A number of these players have not played full seasons this season and have really struggled with injury. Obviously, TJ Edwards will be out of this game with a season-ending injury. DeMarco Jackson will have to step up and play as he has when he's been called upon. Next man up mentality will have to be there. Dennis Allen, I think, as well, will have to bring a different defense than we saw in that first half against the Packers, where the Packers scored on their first 3 drives. We need the second half Bears defense to really come alive, where Dennis changed a lot of things. He improvised. He brought different blitz packages, even with Jalen Johnson blitzing at one point, Kyler Gordon bringing the blitz. Lots of different packages there to put pressure on that Packers offense. And we'll look at that defense, of course, in the build-up to this huge divisional round game this weekend. Now, a guy who I think has really answered his critics this season. And there's still going to be some Bears fans, I think, questioning this guy because there's the Bajan baddies, there's the deluded amongst us that, just genuinely do need to kind of get with the program and understand that this guy is the franchise. This guy is the future. He is the Iceman. He is a franchise quarterback. He is a guy who I think will go on to be an absolute elite level QB. Against the Packers this weekend, he threw for 361 yards, 2 TDs, 2 interceptions. Yes, some of those interceptions could have been avoided. And there was still inaccuracies in his throw. His 50% completion rate tells you that. And there are still areas of improvement to make with Caleb. His accuracy. And he'll know that. Ben Johnson will know that. Press Taylor will know that. Declan Doyle will know that. There is obviously, improvements to make. And they will be made. But this is a guy who has led this offense on an absolute tear this season. Yes, we've talked a little bit about the defense being perhaps the weak spot in this roster this season, and I think that is obviously something that Ryan Poles will need to work on this offseason. I think the working on the D line will be the priority, the same way that working on the O line was last summer. This will need to be the priority this offseason. But Caleb has done a fabulous job. Obviously, Ben Johnson has been a big part of that, and the relationship between Ben and Caleb is absolutely first class. Now, the Bears currently lead the NFL in yards per game, 445 yards per game total. They lead the NFL. They lead the NFL in passing yards at present, 352 yards per game. They rank in the top 10. They rank in 7th place, I believe it is, for rushing with 93 yards per game. In terms of points per game, the Bears rank second at 31 points per game to, guess who? The Los Angeles Rams. And like I said, the Rams will bring threat this weekend. Of course they will. Their offense is decent. We'll talk about that, like I said, closer to the game. But, you know, Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams have done a hell of a job on this offense. So Ben's play calling has certainly helped that out. And I think Ben made those adjustments second half that improved it. I think first half it wasn't great. Second half it did improve. And he will need to coach a 4-quarter game this weekend. Caleb has made a massive difference. You know, the throw on fourth down when he's falling backwards. Some of the other throws that he's made this season have been absolutely amazing. The throws on the run. And even Sean McVay, in his interview that he gave the other day, acknowledged what a threat Caleb Williams is to any team. Worth noting this as well. Clay Harbour, talking a little bit about the Bears, said 361 in the game, the most yards in the game, the most by a Bears QB in the playoffs in franchise history. 10 pass plays of 20 plus yards or more by a Bears QB in a game this century. Wow. 7 fourth quarter comebacks this season, the most by any quarterback under 25 in NFL history. That's not luck, that's leadership. And that's correct. Take those stats, look at them, drink them in for a minute, and understand that this is not a fluke. This is not a guy who, you know, is just a game manager. This is not a guy who is an average talent. This is a guy who is an elite level talent. Like I said, look at the stats. Look at those stats. I mean, let's kind of break it down a little bit as well. We'll look at that in a minute. You know, the Bears have 7 wins in games where they've trailed in the final 2 minutes. That's never happened in NFL history. Just take that for a minute. 7 wins in games where they've trailed in the final 2 minutes. It is cardiac kid stuff, yes, in NFL history. This is a team that you cannot write off. That they are if we are within a score of coming for the opposition, there's always a chance that the Bears could do that. This is the final 3 drives of that game against the Packers on Saturday. 10 of 19, 184 yards, 2 passing TDs to 0 interception, and 11 rushing yards. When the pressure is on, when the heat is on, in the heat of the battle, Caleb produces consistently. You know, he really genuinely does produce consistently a 53% completion rate on that situation. And I think the lessons we need to take from that, from Saturday, from those facts, figures, those comebacks, is that this Bears team will go to the wire against the Rams. Now, yes, the defense and keeping it close is going to be a major part of this game. Of course it is. And does the defense worry me? Of course it does. With Matt Stafford, Puka Nacua, and all the offensive threat they carry. They carry a hell of a pass rush as well. And with the fact that Ozzie Trapillo is out and Theo Benedette is likely to start. I did hear some people this morning discussing possibly starting Braxton Jones. Please don't do that. Please do not start him. Look, Caleb Williams has grown this year, has developed this year, has improved this year beyond all recognition. And I think, you know, this is a real kind of lesson. This is a guy basically in his sophomore rookie year. Yes, he's a sophomore, but he's really a rookie this season. He's relearning. He's relearning the system. He's relearning to be an NFL quarterback. He's working for a head coach, for an offensive coordinator, for a pass game coordinator, for an assistant head coach in Antoine Mandel, who actually get what it is to develop a quarterback, something that Matt Eberflus, Shane Waldron failed to do during Caleb's first season. And it's an upward trend, which will only get better as the seasons pass, as Ben works on Caleb's footwork, Caleb's accuracy. All those will come. And you can see the emotion, the passion that this guy brings to the game. He brings it, game in, game out. And as I said on the video yesterday, I think it was, when I talked about the trolling that he did with the cheese grater hat was just fantastic, amazing. But you look at those stats, and you know this team don't quit. This team does not quit. This team keeps on going right till the very end. And it's Caleb that leads that. Now, people talk about us having the worst defense in the playoffs at this point in the playoffs of any playoff team in history. There is ways to overcome that. And that is having a top-level offense. This offense is trending towards a top-level offense. I'm not saying it's there yet. I'm not saying we're going to win the Super Bowl this year. But I am saying that it's going in the right direction for the Bears this season and for Caleb Williams too. Guys, let me know your thoughts on Caleb, on the Iceman, and that comeback, and him going into this weekend against the Rams. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the content, of course, please like, comment, share, and of course, most importantly, subscribe, ring the bell, bear down.